Oh, baby. Wow. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another season of recaps post game for the 2021-2022 season. Tonight it is opening night, night number 1. Opening night, Lakers and Warriors just finished off at the Staples Center, and there is a lot to unpack here, man. Russell Westbrook's Laker debut, 121-114, the final score in favor of the visitors from up north, the Golden State Warriors, to spoil Russell Westbrook's debut. It was an incredibly entertaining game. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and here is what I noticed. So let's start with some things, right? Immediately, what I wanted to see was what I talked about in the Laker preview. It's not too late to go see that, by the way. Check it out. It's on the channel with the Lake Show. We talked about the sacrifices between Russ and LeBron and how that's going to balance out. You really don't want AD sacrificing much, I think, if you're a Laker fan. You want AD being aggressive and scoring 30 points a game. First thing I noticed, the starting lineup decision. So Vogel's going with DeAndre Jordan to start, which makes me believe that he wants to do what he did similarly to what he did in 2020, which was to have JaVale McGee play the 5, start out with that, but really play AD the 5 for most of the game and only play JaVale/DeAndre Jordan for like 20 to 22 minutes a game. Tonight, DeAndre played 13, but for stretches, it really felt like he played more. Dwight Howard also played 13. But in my opinion, you guys, as my subscribers that have watched me for a season, know now what I think of DeAndre Jordan. I really thought that it was a very weird move for the Lakers. I think Marc Gasol, with what he offers in terms of IQ and floor spacing, would have been a much better player to have alongside the big three. I don't think DJ offers anything offensively except for a role threat. And I also think that defensively he's not as good as people realize. I think that he has a reputation of being a great rim protector, but he doesn't talk enough on defense, which you see with various defensive breakdowns. I think that positionally he's not as good as a guy like a Marc Gasol Marc Gasol's the prime example because he played for the Lakers last year, so it's easy for me to go there. And then I also think at times he's just in no man's land, kind of waiting to help or waiting to get a block or something. And I think that it's literally there's a lot of players on the Lakers that are roamers on defense, Westbrook being one and LeBron being another, and very good ones. And I think that there were many times tonight, as we're gonna talk more in depth about it, but there were many times tonight where Laker players, after one rotation, it would be very scrambled, very disorganized, all over the place, like they didn't know where to rotate next, like they were just falling asleep watching it all play out, like the rest of us watching on TV. And that comes with time, that comes with chemistry, communicating with your new teammates. As I said many times, defense in the NBA today, and usually in the history of the NBA, is all about communication. By the way, tell me what you think of this quality. You see in my features in 1080p, son. For the people listening on YouTube, drop your comments. We'll be getting to them soon. But we got a game to talk about here. If you're joining us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I appreciate you as well, the listeners going to work in the morning. If you're listening to this on Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, whatever you may be doing. So clearly the Lakers' strategy to start defensively was to throw 2 on Steph. Just like we saw in the play-in game, the Lakers do a really good job on Steph. Every single screen and every time Steph comes up the court, it seems like he wants a screen. And, they'll do it 30 feet away, which will throw. And I think DeAndre and Dwight and various guys that they were putting in that pick and roll action did a good job defending Steph. Like they were up on him and putting 2 on him, and Steph was making the right play every time. What's amazing about Steph is you basically, no matter if he's on the ball or off the ball, you have to put 2 guys on him. You have to have 2 bodies reacting to him when he's coming off screens, whether it's on ball or off ball. And that creates openings for everybody else. The problem is guys like Draymond Green are allergic to shoot, and that hasn't helped in the offseason. And look, you guys know, again, my loyal Dime Dropper fans know that I actually like Draymond Green's game a lot. I think that he does invaluable things for the Warriors. I think he's indispensable. And I think that a lot of casual fans do not see the impact that he really puts in beyond the box score. Tonight he had 6 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists, 5 turnovers, though, 2 of 5. Problem is, what did we talk about last season really held the Warriors back? 2 of 5. You're afraid to shoot. A lot of times, him and Looney, they each shot 5 times. Looney was 3 of 5 with 7 points. But a couple times, Steph, the Lakers are running him off the three-point line. And Steph a couple times passed up 18-footers, mid-range shots, and dumped it off to Draymond and Kevon Looney. And I think that that's the right decision more often than not. But I think that as the game wore on and Steph just could not find good looks and was missing. And, what's a good look for Steph? I mean, he makes the seemingly impossible look possible. So he was just not hitting. And I thought that he passed up a lot of mid-ranges and runners that he could have taken. Instead, he made a decent play, which is to dump it off to Draymond and Looney at various times. But I think the lack of confidence that Draymond and Looney have around the basket to score, like at times they'd fumble the ball or they don't know if they want to go up with it or they want to pass it. That gives smart and agile athletic defenders like LeBron, AD, DeAndre, just that split second gives them a chance to recover. And I think that I would prefer Steph forcing maybe an 18-footer with a guy on his back, or not even a force. I think sometimes he just passed up good looks. And I think that Steph, just going forward, I also think that sometimes, and I mentioned this in the plane when he got eliminated last year, sometimes fuck a screen. I know you can get a good look with the screen because they're going to send 2 defenders, but when you're trying to get your shot in rhythm, and tonight it was okay for Steph because the Warriors still won. And I still think, despite the fact that he went 5 of 21, I think he still played a great game. I mean, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. But I think that at times he needs to neglect screens and don't pass up the mid-range game, because it'll, when your shots aren't falling, any shot that goes in, everything will change for a shooter like that. But let's talk about the Lakers offensively, which I had a big, I was magnifying glasses on him, magnifying glasses. And this is what I noticed. LeBron, as I said with the Lake Show, I wanted to see what the sacrifices were from LeBron and Russ. I thought, as I said before, AD, you don't want him to sacrifice. Really, you want him to be your number one scorer. And I think that AD in the first lineup with DJ, what he does usually when a center is out there, when he's playing the 4, is he kind of stays at the perimeter 18 feet away from the basket, and it's not really threatening anybody. I thought that today, even with DJ on the court, and this was around the first quarter, as the first quarter progressed, I thought that Anthony Davis did a really good job of getting in the right spots when he was trying to post up. So, for example, Lakers will clear out a lot of ISO ball tonight for LeBron and AD. And I think for AD, what I loved about it was you get him on the block and you get him around the block area. You know what I'm saying? Not 18 feet away where the defense can load up above the foul line. Because when you're posting up below the foul line, people always say, oh, in Michael Jordan's era, there was illegal defense. The same thing exists today with defensive 3-second violation. If you watch that game tonight and you watch certain isolation situations for Melo and Anthony Davis, when they got the ball 15 feet or closer to the basket around that block area, the Warriors players were loading up, but they couldn't fully just sit in the paint because that's a defensive 3-second violation. So if they commit, that's basically the same as a hard double team. And when they're just loading up like that and not fully committing, a great player that has post game, and AD was doing this tonight, one hop dribble into the middle of the paint, jump hook, or fading away. So it's like the defender that's coming late is not really even there in time. Or if he is coming and is ready for you to go middle, you can find the man that he's helping off of to shoot. And I think AD was really good about the positioning in which, he was, the positioning he was getting. I thought LeBron, though, was clearly making a point tonight that he is still LeBron James. He came out and attacked. I thought his jumper looked fantastic. I think it was pretty hard to get to the rim because of DeAndre Jordan and the spacing or lack of it. I think that LeBron's jumper looked great, though. I thought that even at times he went for the stop on a dime, which I've been critical that he doesn't really have as much anymore since he's bulked up. I think going left, he had it, and he made it, I think once or twice, but most of the time it's not in a one-on-one situation. It's either, he's coming off a screen and he's got room to kind of fade away and really open his body up. Because the thing is, if a guy is guarding you on your hip or standing in front of you and you're fading away and they're coming from your right side, the way LeBron shoots over his head, that's why guys get a chance to hit it from behind. So when he's coming off those screens, he can fade away a little bit and stop on a dime more comfortably. But going right, he still looks like it's awkward for him because of the way he shoots. That being said, though, LeBron's jumper was fantastic. And as far as scoring and the way he looked, I'd be really happy if I was a Laker fan seeing him like that, because that LeBron is right up there in that best player in the league conversation. My problem is this, guys, and this is what I really noticed about tonight. LeBron was trying to go out there and get going himself. He wanted to go score. In the beginning, he tried to play a little off the ball. He came off, a pin down and curl, and he lost the ball in the beginning. And then he tried to go baseline, and then he was fouled and tripped. After that, the very few times where he really was moving off the ball in that half-court offense, he just kind of curled up and got the ball and either went and ISO'd in the post or in the mid-post. I like the areas in which he was operating when it came to scoring. But the thing is, who's the new guy in town? Russell Westbrook. You, as the leader, as the champion, as the guy that's put in the GOAT conversation, LeBron is supposed to be the guy that makes everybody better. Was Russell Westbrook made better tonight? He was not. And do what he does. And what Russ does is he pushes the pace, he gets out and runs. And in the half-court offense, I think that you need to let Russ bring up the ball more than LeBron, because LeBron is the better scorer. LeBron is the guy that's more comfortable in the mid-range area, more comfortable in the three. And I think that LeBron needs to let Russ handle the ball a little more. For example, I'm going to use an example from tonight's game. There was a play where LeBron came up the court. I saw Russ get the rebound, and he gave it to LeBron. And those plays add up because Russ isn't catching the ball or touching the ball on a lot of those plays again. He's going possession after possession, not touching the ball. And when LeBron was getting hot in that second quarter around that time, and he was I remember there was one possession in particular. Russ gave him the ball off the rebound. LeBron comes up the court. He runs a little high screen and roll with Dwight, or he throws it to Dwight. Dwight gets it back to him. Then he comes off the screen, throws it to Bazemore, sets a screen for Bazemore to get the switch, and then gets in the post and then shoots. For the most part, two people touch the ball very quickly. LeBron's controlling it all, and Russ is sitting in the corner. There was just a lot of moments where Russ was sitting in the corner. And even though LeBron and AD were making those shots in isolation throughout the game, you are not helping Russ get in rhythm here. You are not. The offense was fairly stagnant. As we know, Russ and LeBron just aren't fantastic off the ball. And I think this is a work in progress, and we can't draw too many conclusions from just tonight. It's going to be a work in progress. But LeBron on catch and shoot, I don't love it. It seemed like he was more comfortable off the dribble. Russ catch and shoot looks awful. He's never been good at that. And plus, when DeAndre Jordan's out there, when Russ catches the ball and tries to, work off the catch on the rip through and the paint is clogged, that doesn't suit him well either. Other than that, though, as far as the bench guys, I want to say I don't think Vogel got his rotations right either. I think, there were times where Russ and LeBron were, for example, on the bench at the same time. I don't think that does anything, because I think that when LeBron goes to the bench, it's a perfect time for Russ to start getting his rhythm, running the offense and starting, like, for example, late in the game, he got a nice drive and kick out to Avery Bradley. That's more like Russell Westbrook. And I honestly think that it's just, look at what the Warriors did tonight. They played with only Looney as their only true center, and they only played him for 15 minutes. They went with a small ball lineup for the majority of the game. Iguodala, Otto Porter Jr., Nemanja Bjelica, who we're going to get into in a second. He was my player of the game. And Draymond Green at the 5. And I think that made it tough in certain situations for when Dwight so the second unit comes in for the Lakers, right? Dwight, Melo, Rondo. I think Bazemore is going to be the best defender perimeter-wise on this team, like I said in the preview with Lake Show. But Carmelo, we know who he is. And he is the same Carmelo he was in 2008 in terms of his mindset. Every time he touches the ball, he looks to score every single time. He has the green light is always on with that dude. And there's a reason why he's never won a championship. And I think that's part of the reason why. And you see it with the Blazers too. It's just like sometimes he just doesn't know when to quit. And Dwight Howard tonight just didn't have a great game. I thought that he got caught in no man's land on those secondary rotations. And I thought that Nemanja Bjelica, Juan Toscano Anderson, these various guys, were making him pay, because I thought, Dwight's instinct is to be a rim protector. Same with DeAndre Jordan. And a lot of those times when they're not really attacking the paint like that, they're mostly hitting you from the perimeter with guys like Damian Lee, with Jordan Poole, Nemanja Bjelica, and Otto Porter, and Juan Toscano Anderson for these pick and pops or short rolls. I think that a lot of times Dwight was in no man's land, DeAndre was in no man's land, and Carmelo Anthony was not rotating. Carmelo Anthony, that stuff takes a work in progress because it's team defensive communication, secondary rotation, all that. And when you got Curry getting doubled at the top, it's going to force a lot of rotations. And LeBron did a really good job, I thought, defensively of making the first rotation, but I think the helper needed help. And LeBron didn't really get that too much on various portions of the game. I thought LeBron's defense was pretty good. Obviously not on the ball because that's not what he is, but he's a great safety, off-ball defender, rotator, whatever. I thought AD was a good defensively as well at times, but I also thought he had brain lapses. And on second chance opportunities, I thought the Warriors got a good amount of offensive rebounds tonight. They got 9. Lakers got 5. So even with the size that the Lakers have, the Warriors got more offensive rebounds. And I think that they were just a little more lively to the balls. And I think it's because of the positioning that the Lakers were in, scrambled on defense, not close to a man. And I thought that Rondo, for one, I think that he got too many minutes. Rondo is a guy that I'm very familiar with and I'm a huge fan of, and I'm a much more sympathetic towards Rondo than a lot of Clipper fans are, but I know why he did not play well in the playoffs because Rondo right now doesn't have the same burst that he used to have. And guys have always sagged off on Rajon. Guys have always sagged off. But he's been so nifty quick that he's been able to get around them regardless in this no hand check era. Problem is now he doesn't have that same burst. People are going to dare him to shoot. His jumper has gone better over the years, but last year with the minutes that Ty Lue was giving him, he couldn't find a rhythm shooting the J. If he is not hitting his jumper, people are going to invite him to score, similar to how they do with Westbrook at times. And they know that Rondo's feeding the pass. So with the Lakers, you got one guy off the bench in Melo who all he wants to do is shoot. And then you have another guy with Rondo, all he wants to do is pass. And I think that Rondo didn't have a horrendous game. I thought that he made a nice pass on AD's spin lob. I thought that he had a nice steal here and there. He made a nice 3 in the corner. But overall, I think that Rondo at times can really stagnate ball movement because he loves to handle the ball himself. And plus, I do not understand Russ and Rondo playing in the same lineup at all. I think that's terrible from Vogel. I think he needs to quit it now because I think that neither of them are good off-ball threats. They're completely on the ball. Russ is just not very creative with his movement off the ball. He's a new school kind of player. And I think that Rondo does nothing for him. Russell Westbrook was just sacrificing way too much tonight. And I understand that's what happens when you play with 2 stars, really, but it's not what happens when you play with certain stars. And this is why I'm so happy I've done this whole old school watching of basketball because when I watched Magic in 1980 and saw how he played with 3 other All-Stars, I realized what you have to do as a star that loves the ball. You need to be okay with not having the ball and be able to move in the offense without it being very take turns. And LeBron has not proven to me he can do that. And he needs to take a dip. Like, look, AD is the one you want scoring 25 plus. If LeBron averages 23, 8 and 8, and Westbrook averages 22, 7 and 8 or whatever, and they win more, that's better. I think it's very basic to just look and say LeBron and AD played great and Russ played like trash. I think that there's a reason why Russ played like trash because minutes and minutes would go on and he wouldn't touch the ball. Finally, in the second quarter, the Lakers get the ball to Russ on a low post touch. He scores and then he gets immediately pulled out of the game after a possession where Rondo didn't even look to pass him the ball. Like, you're not trying. This game, I think the Lakers did a really poor job of trying to get Russell Westbrook comfortable. LeBron and AD may have been great, and they were. And I think Anthony Davis, he even could have been a little better in the second half, in my opinion. I think when Nemanja Bjelica was on him, I think he wasn't as aggressive as he should have been. But overall, I thought AD was great. I mean, 33 points, 15 of 26. LeBron was very efficient. I thought he was great scoring the ball. 34 points, 11 boards, 5 assists. I think he slowed down a little bit in the fourth. 5 of 11 from 3 from LeBron, which is amazing. I thought 1 of 5 from AD for 3. Again, you guys know how I feel about AD shooting threes. I think he needs to shoot like 2 or 3 a game, to be honest, and keep attacking the inside. And I think that Vogel needs to continue to play with AD at the 5. And I honestly think that AD needs to man up and just start at the 5, man. Like, you're holding this team back. It's not even that, as Lake Show said in the preview, it's not even that bang bang anymore. But I thought the Warriors did a really good job of staying in it. And I just kept saying to myself, like, Steph's not hitting. The Warriors are getting a ton of good looks, and the Lakers are not running. The Lakers are not pushing the pace. The Lakers are playing exclusively half court, and half court with the spacing that they have does not favor Westbrook at all, especially when minutes go by and Westbrook's not really touching the ball, not really shooting. In the second half, I noticed what was happening for Westbrook. He felt like he was having a bad game, that he wasn't doing enough. So he tried to force the issue. He ran and missed a layup. He was trying to get fouls. I saw what was happening to him. So you're not going to expect Russ to bail you out in the fourth quarter with that. And I saw a lot of Laker fans going at Russ, and he's going to be the easy scapegoat this season. But look, I go back and watch my podcast, Who's the GOAT? And let me clarify that doesn't mean I think Michael Jordan's the GOAT. I'm still on a journey. But when I talked about LeBron in depth, I said that the third star in his big threes always takes a huge back seat. And that's only because of the way LeBron is, not because that's what has to happen. Chris Bosh first, Kevin Love second. Now Westbrook. It has to be more of a balance than this. And it's going to be because it's the first game, so do not panic. I sound very strong with what I'm saying, but I'm just talking about tonight's game. Things are going to change. LeBron's one of the smartest players ever. He's going to watch the film, and they're going to learn. And I think that and Frank Vogel, though, needs to cut it out with the Rondo Westbrook lineups that just don't make sense. DeAndre needs to be played less. Vogel needs to figure things out. For example, Avery Bradley was great tonight when he came in at the end of the game, but just throwing Avery Bradley out there at the like it just showed to me disorganization from Vogel. And here's the thing: it's the first game, so it's normal. I thought that in the beginning of the third quarter, the Warriors, this just shots weren't going for Steph. And I thought that in the beginning, it was the same. Russ was just sitting in the corner watching LeBron work. But once LeBron started hitting some tough ones, though, I think it was I don't know if it was a step back three or a fall away. By the way, that turn over the right shoulder, he went to 2 or 3 times tonight. And as I said in the preview with the Lake Show, man, he has really gotten better at that over the last 5 years or so. And again, much better over that right shoulder. Left, he tried it tonight once, didn't go, looked a little weird. But right shoulder, man, LeBron's got that down pat. And if he had that earlier in his career, man, you guys didn't get to watch him when he was in Cleveland the first time, don't understand how much that would have unlocked various portions of his game. But the fact that has it now is great. I think he needs to continue to go to it all season. But I also think it's more comfortable if LeBron does that and fights for mid-post position himself with Russ throwing the ball into, making the entry pass, because just Russ handling the ball, just Russ making an entry pass. Again, this is a game of humans. This is not a game of robots that you just expect to put up stats without touching the ball and without changing their roles. Russell Westbrook is a total confidence player. You have to let him get confident. The night AD and LeBron wanted to show everybody that they're still AD and LeBron. That's not what's going to help them win this game. Everyone's saying, LeBron and AD played great and the Lakers still lost. LeBron and AD don't need to put up 30 plus for the Lakers to win every night. They need to just find a way to get out and run and incorporate Westbrook better. You're not going to win games playing Westbrook this way. It's not going to happen. And it's not going to be a theme of the season because it's early and the Lakers are not stupid. I think Malik Monk was okay today. He didn't really 2 of 5 in 19 minutes. I thought that a lot of those, like Lakers bench in terms of defense, is really taking a hit. I mean, Caruso, KCP, Kuzma, you got to remember, say what you want about Kuzma, but his hustle these last couple of years has been big time. So I think that the Lakers really have really taken a step down defensively, top to bottom with their personnel, especially on the perimeter. That's why I think Bradley will slowly become a bigger part of this rotation going forward. But yeah, other than that, let me think. I mean, Nemanja Bjelica, I got to close it out with him. I thought Jordan Poole was really good, by the way. And we talked about him in the preview. Go check that out with Asher. We talked about how he's a most improved candidate. No doubt about it. His shooting, his finishing, even finishing with the offhand, same foot, same hand finish. He was making some tough ones. But I also thought the Lakers just overall, it's going to take time. I think the Warriors just knew each other better. Lakers, 45 and 95 from the field as a team, shot 47.4%. That's pretty good. 3-point, 15 to 42, 35.7%. Also pretty good. 9 of 19 from the line, though. 47% from there. LeBron 3 of 6 and AD 2 of 7. I mean, that doesn't help at all. The Warriors won the game in the fourth quarter. They were down by 2. They outscored the Lakers 38-29 in the fourth. And what I put that down to is a lack of familiarity with the Laker team defensively. And I think that because Vogel was experimenting with his lineup so much, I just think they felt discombobulated, and every single miss felt that much bigger in the fourth quarter because the Warriors' shot quality was so much better than the Lakers. And that's because Steph just draws two guys and he plays so fast in that half court set. I mean, guys, it's really the key to basketball. It's really in the half court set is really just moving without the ball. And it's a skill that's just not taught anymore in America the same way it used to be. As we talked about, is the NBA getting better? Kobe talked about this. And I think a guy tonight that, speaking of foreign players looking good, Nemanja Bjelica. I mean, I've seen him play. I knew he could shoot, but the things he was doing tonight, finishing around the rim through contact, 3 times in the first half, he made shots around the paint, just going to the rim. I thought he was in the right place, the right time defensively. And I thought that, the Lakers did not take advantage of their Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan behemoths, because I think the Warriors with Otto Porter, Bjelica, they did a good job of gang rebounding. I think they took advantage of Rondo and Westbrook not being outside threats and kind of sagged off when shots went up from different guys. They were able to get their hands in and deflect the ball from Dwight and DJ, keep them off the glass. Dwight Howard, DJ only had 2 rebounds tonight, both defensive rebounds. Dwight Howard, 6 rebounds, but no offensive rebounds. And Dwight was so good in the 2020 season with getting second chance opportunities for the Lakers. So I thought the Warriors did a great job there. Bjelica hitting threes, though, in the second half and the fourth to ice it. Hard foul. LeBron got a flagrant one, took one for the team, though. LeBron, I'm pretty sure, made 1 of 2 at the line. And I just think that the Warriors just were more familiar with their team. Wiggins was okay. He was on a minutes restriction, only 26 minutes. And by the way, the fact that Steve Kerr said that Draymond and Wiggins are on a minutes restriction, which they were, is ridiculous. I mean, guys, this is the start of the fucking season. Like, how are you not prepared to play basketball right now? Like, are you kidding me? Like, what's going on here in this NBA? It's a circus right now. But I actually enjoyed watching the circus show tonight, and it was the win for the Warriors. I thought Steph overall played well. I think it's a work in progress for the Lakers, but I think that LeBron played great scoring the ball. 34 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, though. And that's my point. The assists went down because I think LeBron looked to score a lot tonight, and that's great. But I think he needs to do it in a different way, in a way that's less ball dominating, in a way that Russ is incorporated more. And after those early off-ball actions for LeBron, he became exclusively just whenever Russ got the ball, he just stood at the top of the key. And that's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. Not for a championship level. That's just my opinion. By the way, I really hope I don't hear any Bron stands crying about this because, look, this is basketball, man. It's a game of people, and it's a game of, making each other comfortable. You need to understand the game at a high level. I ain't saying LeBron cost him the game. I ain't saying AD cost him the game. But just trading ISOs with LeBron and Anthony Davis and letting your floor general triple-double average third superstar not touch the ball for large stretches of the game. Then he goes out of the game. And then he's playing with Rondo, Vogel, the whole Laker team, from the players to the coaching staff. They did not do a good job of getting Russ incorporated and comfortable tonight at all. And I think that's going to change going forward. I think you'll probably see a concerted effort to really get him going next game. But yeah, that's it for me with the Laker recap. Let me rattle off some stats for the Dubs. Steph Curry, as I said, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Jordan Poole, though, was awesome. 20 points, 8 of 18, 4 of 11 from 3. Nemanja Bjelica, though, my player of the game. 15 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. He had a really nice fake handoff and turn and kick late in the game. It was beautiful. And then Andre Iguodala, who I thought that the Miami Heat didn't use as much as I would have liked them to use last season. 23 minutes, very positive impact tonight, +8 in the plus minus, 12 points, doing what he does best, just making the right play, making the right reads on those short rolls, and playing good defense. Damian Lee also made some really big shots. 15 points for him, 4 of 10 from the field, only 1 of 5 from 3, but he made the difference. As for the Lakers, AD, 33 and 11, great opening night, a lot to look forward to with him. I think that he needs to be playing the 5 a lot more, though. LeBron in 37 minutes, 34 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 turnovers, 13 of 23 from the field, 5 of 11 from the 3, 3 of 6 from the line. Great night scoring the ball for LeBron, but he needs to sacrifice more in terms of ball dominance with Westbrook. He needs to try to make him feel better and needs to be willing to go run, because in the half court, it's just LeBron ball. And this is where you gotta try to get the most out of him. This is where the Magic Johnsons and the Larry Birds to me really stand out when I watch them, because they just adjust. They just do not care about their stat. They don't care about maintaining 30-point average, any of that garbage. So this is what LeBron needs to do. he needs to do a little bit more back. You can't just make Russ sacrifice everything for you because it's your team and all this shit. That sounds all hunky dory and cool and all that, but that's just not how this works. Not with a player that has the ball in his hands like that. Anyway, Rondo, 3 points, 1 of 4. Rondo is just, guys, I'm telling you, Laker fans, I love him, but his defense, and I just think that right now at this stage of his career against elite competition, he offers more negative than positive. Against shitty teams, maybe he'll get away with it. But and I love Rondo, man. I think he should be a Hall of Famer, no doubt. But because of the reasons I said earlier, I just think that he's just not it. And I think he should get spot minutes, but not too many. But that's about it. As for the Dodgers, wow, what a scary situation that was today. Corey Seager started off with a two-run dinger home run. Mookie Betts, man, that dude is, it's like every single time he comes up to the plate, like he's gonna get on second base. You know, he's gonna get a single and then he's gonna steal. He puts us in so many great positions to score. And I think that Corey Seager, especially in the Giant series, was just like not delivering as much as he should. And obviously now it's good that he's starting to get going a bit and capitalizing on that. The Turners are still not, just haven't been up to scratch, unfortunately. And I think that that error that Gavin Lux made in the outfield today really almost cost us our whole season. You know, they ended up scoring multiple runs after that. Jock Peterson, it sucks seeing Jock Tober on the other side. I fucked with Jock Peterson heavy. All Dodger fans really did. And we went down 5-2. And Cody Bellinger, hero of Game 5 in the NLDS against the Giants, was the savior again tonight. 3-run bomb, and then Mookie Betts sends us home. Kenley gets to close out, and we stay alive to see another day. It's really all about the offense, though, and just basic fielding. I'm contemplating if I want to go to the game tomorrow or not. I really don't know. I gotta get around there at some point, either game 4 or 5, right? I mean, it's a magical run. My first playoff run being back in LA since 2016. So whatever. But hey, guys, I didn't get to watch much of the Bucks Nets game at all, so I don't really have much feedback on that. Good win for the Bucks. Giannis definitely looks hungry. Overall, though, guys, that's my recap for tonight. About 32 minutes. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Spotify, Apple Podcast people. Tell your friends about this podcast. If you're a Warriors fan, if you're a Lakers fan, especially if you're a Laker fan, tell them about this podcast if you fuck with it, if you fuck with what I'm saying. Now I'm going to go live to our amazing subscribers. I guess Lakers lose tonight. Not as big of a crowd as when the Clippers lose. When the Lakers win, we'll see. But hopefully we'll get the crowds back this season. 31 people in the live waiting oh so patiently will now have their questions answered. Peace, ladies and gentlemen. I probably won't be live tomorrow night if I go to the Dodger game. If I don't, let me know what you think in the comments if I should go live again tomorrow night. But we will be live on Thursday after Clippers Warriors. You better believe it. Peace out. What's up, my people? Hey, how you think of my new setup, man? This is HD. I like looking at myself right now, baby. Jack King asks, what has Russ improved in the last 5 years? Nothing. Splash and Skill says, thank God the Dodgers won. Was afraid of the series ending soon. LA Kings lost 2, by the way. Were you at Dodger Stadium? No, I wasn't. By the way, guys, super chats are turned on. Drop $1 or a dime if you want to keep seeing me get better equipment. You know, pay certain people in the future for guests, whatever. Drop $1 or a dime. Super chats are on. Dime, what do you feel about Jordan Poole's improvement? I think he's one of the most improved players in the league. I think that his shot making looked great tonight. I think that he's a guy that's gonna have a green light all year. And when Clay comes back, him coming off the bench, wow. I mean, that's gonna be something, all right. And it's gonna make the Warriors very dangerous. He won't, because Braun only wants to win if he gets his stats so his stands can worship him. Terminator 92 making some good points here. I mean, you know how I feel about Braun. I just don't want to talk about him too much to seem like a hater because he has very sensitive legion of fanboys. At RJ or Raptors Nation says he can't defer, though Westbrook is nowhere near the finisher that Braun is. If anything, Russ should play a pure point guard role. I agree with that. I think Russ needs to handle the ball more. Raid Chowdhury says, Darian, what's up, man? How you been? I've been okay, man. Not at my best, but living. Guys, by the way, I need to make a shout out to my videos, guys. Check out Dime Rubber Time Machine. 3 episodes out now. If you want to ask me about GOAT shit and all that stuff, the history of the game, I am showing it to you guys in front of your eyes. I'm going to try to release an episode every other Saturday or so. Next one is going to be Oscar Robertson's Bucks debut and Pistol Pete Maravich's NBA debut. Oh, first game of Kareem's second season. It's a good one, so it's coming soon. I appreciate you, my boy Lake Show. I'll always be here, win or lose. Appreciate the opportunity, my guy, for the collab on season preview Lakers. Much love and respect, bro. The quality, though, bro. I see you. Yes, sir. Hey, Lake Show, let me know what you thought of the game tonight. I know I wasn't reading all your comments before, so drop some comments. Edgar O says, need a touch on the beard, my boy. I feel you, man. That shit's raggedy. Kyle Dominic U says, Dime, wishing to be your Warriors fan for your Golden State Warriors season preview. Man, I already did it. But I didn't know you were a Warriors fan, man. Kind of hard to Jizz Hunt says, kind of hard of Russ to play pure point guard off when Braun dominates the ball on an offense. That's true. It needs to be more sacrificial from both sides. And Russ doesn't want to step on Braun's toes. I mean, it's LeBron James. Agree or disagree, I truly believe that Steph Curry is the greatest overall offensive player of all time. This man draws so much attention just being there. I think Raptors Nation, I think that you can make an argument for Curry, but I also think that you think he gets bumped here and there, but compared to the past, bro, it's not the same. Like, he would get bumped so much more than this. And the holding, like, they were letting Avery Bradley handshake him at the end, but for the most part, on the top of the key, Curry's just able to blow by guys for fun because they don't let him, because they have to play him so tight and they can't put their hands on him like that. Curry and Warriors fans think that Curry gets grabbed and stuff all the time. He does relative to today's league. You're forgetting what the NBA used to be like, by the way. So I'd say I'd argue with that. I'd say Magic is close. I think Steph is probably better offensively than Kobe, but I don't know, man. I really like Kobe's game too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think Steph definitely has a case for best offensive player ever, though, but I don't know. I think it's easy to say the best offensive player comes from this era where the rules are so tailored to the offense, but right, asked Darian, when you work on your history timeline and go year by year, how much footage do you watch? Do you watch only playoffs or every game you can? I watched every game I can. There's really not that much footage, right? It's all on my playlist. The Evolution of Basketball, 70s and 60s. For every year that I've done, I upload all the videos on my channel so you guys can watch them too, and you guys can make your own judgments. They're all on my playlists. Go to the channel and find them. My thoughts on Ben Simmons, asked Ja'Cory Marshall. I think that he's being very immature, but I also think that the Sixers didn't handle the situation well. I think that Glenn Rivers threw him under the bus, and I think that Embiid hasn't really been a great teammate. Like, I understand his frustrations, but you don't go to the media with that stuff. I think you keep that in-house. But I think Ben Simmons is being a child as well. I think it's awesome just seeing the team that Glenn Rivers coaches just crumble, and I just love it. Lakeshore says that 3-guard rotation is trash, bro, with Rondo, Monk, or Russ, or with Bays. It's a no-go, bro. Vogel was tripping. Yeah, I agree. Edgar O says, good to see you again, Dime. Looking forward to this NBA season in your lives for sure. Yeah, bro, but make sure you check out my other content too, man. Don't just use me for a live guy, man. I'm all basketball content. Jizz Hunt says Michael Jordan played, You're right. I can't speak on Michael Jordan as much yet because I haven't gone to the 90s yet. Y'all know that. RJ Isiduro says, if the Russ experiment doesn't work, I think Steph deserves more credit for making it work with KD. I think Steph deserves a lot of credit for just being the easiest player to play with because off the ball. Raid says, I think Steph Curry has a serious argument for being the best offensive player. It's insane the attention he draws. That's the same thing someone else said. Kyle Dominic, you says, what's your opinion on Golden State Warriors roster? Should they run with this group all year or should they trade for vets? I don't see why not run with this group all year when Clay comes back. I don't see why not. Raptors Nation says Kobe played in a non-hand check league as well, so that's nitpicky coming from you. Two differences. One, Kobe played in the first 8 years, he didn't. So that's nitpicky coming from you, actually. Secondly, Kobe did play in the no hand check era for the majority of his career, actually, 13 years, right? No. 12 years, I'm sorry. But he didn't play in the spacing like crazy 5 out and no hand check era. So we didn't get to see Kobe unleashed in that type of stuff. Steph is a different breed than Kobe Bryant, Raptors Nation. Is that what you're telling me? Joey Sixpack says, can Giannis get another MVP? Joey Sixpack, go watch my my preview of my NBA awards preview. It's my last video before the Laker preview. Oh, by the way, Clipper preview is coming, by the way, before our first game. Do not think I forgot. That's coming. It's just me by myself because who else is going to give you the best Clipper knowledge? But anyway, I said Giannis. Splash and skills. I ain't gonna answer your question about most improved. I've already answered it. Go to my video, man. I have it timestamped. NBA awards. Please do a time machine for Wilt. Oh, it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. 1972 is coming. Um, Collins Dang said, did the Kings ruin Marvin Bagley's development, or was he just that bad? I think it's a little bit of both, and I have to say that because I haven't watched the Kings at a consistent basis. I think it's definitely a little bit of both. Kyle Dominic, you asked, are you positive that Kyrie will play this season? I'm not. Kyle Dominic, you asked, what are your expectations for the Clippers this year, especially with no Kawhi all year? Gotta wait for the preview coming up soon. Yo, say hello to the thoughts. LOL and HD, they can get a taste, allegedly. Lake Show talking reckless now, G. When was the 76ers not a mess? 1983, 2001? Splash and skills, man. The Sixers are usually, 65, like Wilt era, they were good. They weren't always the most well-run organization, but they were good. Darian, where do you rank Russell Westbrook as a point guard in the NBA today? Great question. Well, I'd have Curry number 1. I'd have Luka number 2, Harden 3, Damian Lillard 4, Trae Young 5. I'm not counting Kyrie as a point right now. I'm going to count him as a 2 guard because that's how he's played lately. And after Trae Young, I would probably say I'd have Westbrook 6th probably. Am I forgetting somebody big? You let me know. Thanks, Tal Dominic. It feels so good to be back in a Dime Dropper live. You see, Ja'Cory Marshall said, you see Wilt HD video abusing the backboard. Of course, you know I'm all for that content. He's releasing a Bill Russell one soon, and I'm so excited about that. I got to post that on Twitter before anybody else does. Darian, didn't they rule out hand checking 05? So it was 9 years early for Kobe. No, it was the 04-05 season was the first one. But I also want to emphasize that the first couple of years that happened, they didn't fully like let it go yet. Like it took a little bit of time before they freed it up. Like as you can tell, with the scores, it didn't really go crazy immediately. Although some individuals it did, but like league wide, it was still like the strategy was still two bigs pack the paint. Like you know what I'm saying? They didn't abuse the rules yet. Phoenix Suns did though, and the Orlando Magic in 09 by going small ball. Let's see. Man's already talking about trades over here. Oh, Bill Russell is the GOAT, says, keep up the great work time. Are you only going forward in your time machine? Any chance we get another Russell time machine? You know what, Russell? GOAT, I think 1966, second half of that game 4 against the Royals, one day I may do it. But I don't know, man. It's just like my thing is this. Like I love Bill so much, but it doesn't seem like people like the 60s that much. Like they want me to get it. The sooner I get to the 80s and 90s, the more I feel like people are going to tune in. And once I get to Jordan and Bird and Magic, I think people are going to start being here a lot. And Dr. J. You know I love Russell though. I mean, you know how I feel about him. You want to talk about a guy that knows how to make teammates better and like by sacrificing because he's not a score. Like it's Russell. I'm not even going to get into it, but Kyle Dominic you says no Ben Simmons trade predictions, right? I don't think I have any predictions for a trade, but if I was the Portland Trailblazers, I would make a move for Ben Simmons right now with McCollum as the centerpiece because I think it's time to get some defensive blood into that lineup with Dame. I think it would be great. Ben, Dame, Norman Powell, Robert Covington, Nurkic, and then CJ McCollum. You get an all-star kind of return if you're the Sixers. I think that makes sense for both sides. I think the Blazers should do it, but I don't know the financials and everything, so I don't know if exactly it could work out. Scipio says, are you happy that the mid-range jumper is coming back time? I've seen more two-point J in this preseason than the entire last season. Well, I can't agree with you because I watched tonight's game and I did not see much mid-range going on. Maybe I'm spoiled because I'm watching 70s footage, but there's no threes, but I don't notice anything coming back. And I didn't watch preseason, so maybe you're telling me stuff about preseason I didn't see. I don't know. I haven't seen much yet. Someone asked, Joey Sixpack asked, how do you think James Harden looked? I didn't get to watch the game much, so I can't answer that question. Raid said, any thoughts on the NBA's top 75 list of all time? I saw the guys that made it today. I have no objections. I'm happy to see Hal Greer is still on it. Happy to see Willis is on it, but he better be. I'm happy to see Jerry Lucas make it. Bob Pettit, of course, that was obvious. I want to see Sam Jones and Dave Bing not removed. If they're removed, I'll be disappointed because those two are, I mean, I'd have to actually make a top 75 to tell you if I think Dave Bing should still be on it. But Sam Jones, I mean, come on. Raptors Nation, um, in the 90s, they still got away with loading up. It just wasn't as blatant. It was just because the spacing naturally allowed it to be easier to help. Lake Show asked thoughts on Terrence Mann. Do you believe he can be the consistent third guy after Leonard returns, even though that's likely senior spot? I don't know if I think the third scoring guy may be senior or Reg. No, it's going to be Reggie probably. I think Terrence though offers so much. I don't think he's necessarily a third guy, but I think he's ready to be a really big contributor all season. Oh, right, he said Chris Paul. Yeah, I would take Chris Paul over Russ. I would. I'm sorry. So I'd say Russ 7th. Terminator 92 says, I think the only reason Lakers traded for Westbrook is the same reason Nets traded for Harden. I figured both teams didn't trust AD and Kyrie staying healthy due to their injury history. RJ Isidoro says, hey, man, do a preview of the 1976 preview. Need to know why Kareem won MVP when Lakers didn't make the playoffs and Bob McAdoo was balling. That's 5 years down the line. I will wait for that, man. Did anyone see Jason Tatum cosplaying as Kobe? Yeah, splashing skills. I did, and I do not know what to think of that. If you're a Celtics fan, seeing Jason Tatum wear a Laker jersey, I think it's okay because the accident and it's just tragic what happened with Bede. But if he was alive, oh man, that's totally not okay in my eyes because I just think that that rivalry means something to a lot of people that have built through it and still have bruises and scars from that rivalry. And I don't know, man. What do you guys think of it, Laker fan? I mean, you're a Laker fan, so it doesn't really make sense. You think it's funny, but Celtics fans, if you're in here, it's probably too late over there. By the way, shout out to the Astros, even though I hate both the Astros and the Red Sox. Oh my God. They were that bottom of the eighth or top of the eighth just went crazy. Thoughts on Jason Kidd as Mavs coach? You gonna do better? Scipio, man. I did a preview for you. Go check it out, man. I have a timestamp there. Joey Sixpack, what does winning a ring this year do for LeBron's career? We'll revisit that when we get there. Kyle Dominic Yu says, what are you feeling about the Timberwolves this season? I kind of noticed they can be a lot better this year. Kyle Dominic Yu, I made a preview. Timestamp. It's there on the channel. I'm not going to answer these questions because my view count's been so fucking low, guys. Where are my fans at? Seriously. Where are my fans? I need you guys watching the previews, the time machine, not just the live. We need to get this shit going again. Look at the quality of my videos now. I'm never going to have a video that's not HD anymore. We're taking this shit to the next level. We just need to get more people on board. Follow me on Twitter. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, we got over 2,000 followers now. Got to keep building on there. Get people on these lives. I don't get likes on that many likes on my podcast clips too, but we'll see. Anyway. Oh my God, Raptors Nation. The mid-range is just a bad shot in general for most NBA players. We're in a 3 or finish at the rim era. That's because you say the mid-range is a bad shot because people do not practice mid-ranges anymore. It's a bad shot because they're not good at it. Let's be real with these players. They're not good at it, except for a select few guys. It's not like it used to be. Speaking of mid-range, Hal Greer. I like how that name came up. Hal Greer, the king of the mid-range. Man. I think Hal Greer is like the Chris Paul of his era, but he won a championship. Even though he choked so many times, he won a championship. Dime, I really love your CJ for Ben trade, but I guess it depends if 76ers still think Ben is a 99 overall, and they're also pressured to trade Ben to where he wants. Messed up. Why should they trade him to where he wants? That's nonsense. I don't know why Ben Simmons wouldn't be happy to play with the Blazers. I think it would be a great place for him. Lakeshore says Sam Jones should not be removed at all. Ben Simmons for Kyrie, I don't think that's a terrible move for either side, really. But I don't know. I really don't know about the Nets. I don't know if I'd trade Kyrie Irving. Darian, what do you think of Bill Russell being ranked so low, though? It wasn't in order, Raid. It wasn't in order. What do I think about the 83 Sixers? I haven't watched a full game of them play yet. Bill Russell's the GOAT. I think they're stacked as shit. But I can't speak specifics. Who do you objectively think is going to win this World Series? I don't think I know enough about baseball to say who's objectively going to win, quite frankly. Um, Raptors Nation says, I truly believe, minus Kyrie Irving, that the Bucks are the best team in the NBA. I don't believe in the Lakers. Splash and Skill says, man, my gut keeps telling me that Jason Tatum is going to be the greatest betrayal in NBA history. We'll see about that. It would be the greatest betrayal in NBA history, though. There's no doubt. Raptor said also, do you agree with the notion that the East is better than the West this year, assuming everyone's healthy? I'm not ready to say that it's better, but I think it's really catching up. It's the most even it's been in the 21st century. Do I play fantasy basketball? No, I stopped playing fantasy basketball years ago. All right, guys. I think that's gonna end it for tonight. Any last questions, guys? 50 minutes. I think it's a nice place to stop. It's a season again, so we're gonna be back all night. Promote this shit. Let your friends know about it, and we're gonna have a fun season, man. HD, man. Look at me, man. HD. Come on. Doesn't get better than this. So, last words, but ladies and gents, all gents probably. I think Clay's gonna be fine, Raptors Nation. I think he's gonna be perfectly fine. I think that he may not be as sharp in the beginning, but I think he didn't play an athleticism based game, so I think he'll be straight. I think though, like 18 points a game this year, not 20. Peace.